Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Too Many Hobbies podcast presented by 𝐦𝐤𝐤. I am your host, Brian Ellithorpe. If you guys are watching the video, you see I got a new mic stand here and I'm pretty stoked about it. This is what I like to do throughout the season, or in the middle of the season, is kind of the mid-season update. Get on here by myself. We've already had a few episodes with the guests, so it's nice for me to just come on, do my mid-season update, let you guys know what's going on, give you guys some recap on the videos that have come out or the hunts that have come out, and kind of the behind the scenes narrative of what's been going on. So I want to start off with thanking 𝐦𝐤𝐤 for sponsoring this season of the Too Many Hobbies podcast and YouTube channel. I've been using the deep wade waders and the slew dog waders, and I'm really liking them. They also sent me a jacket, a heated jacket, like a quarter zip hoodie. Really like that too. I mean, it's super cool that a company like 𝐦𝐤𝐤 has reached out and wanted to work with me. As you guys know, I've been using their stuff for almost 4 years now, and the initial pair of waders that they sent me, I'm still using them. They haven't leaked. I know that there's people that have issues with waders leaking. Sitka waders leak, Shin waders leak. It's, I don't think anything's really built like it used to be, so it's tough to come by pairs of waders that don't leak, and at the end of the day, I think that it's kind of just luck. There's a lot of people that have really quality gear and they still have issues as well, and I'm glad that the gear that I have from 𝐦𝐤𝐤 I haven't had any issues with. If you guys are looking for something from their website, be sure to use TMH18 to get 18% off your order. It gets me a kickback on commission, which is also nice at the end of the month when I get my sponsorship payment and the commission. So it's nice. I appreciate 𝐦𝐤𝐤. I appreciate you guys who, from the first video that I talked about it, and then the video that I kind of announced it and showed, wader comparison and stuff like that, that a lot of you guys use that code, and I really, really appreciate it. So going back to some of the earlier episodes, I was pretty stoked about the guests that we've had so far. I mean, we had my buddy Brian from Dialed In, Dial Back, him and Chris. That was an awesome episode. Brian's been on here 3 times now, and it's just cool to have him come on and talk about stuff, and just, at this point, it's just been like the progression of him in waterfowl, and, he's working on boats, building boats, and now he's running a charter, which is pretty cool, and that kind of correlates with the other guests that we had from the Fallen Outdoors. They had seen Brian's episode and they wanted to come on and talk about their organization, which I was really happy about. I would have asked them to come on at some point anyway, but TJ and Scott came on, and I'll be doing some stuff with them this year. I already went out and filmed the veterans hunt that actually Brian took TJ on, which was quite the crossover, but that was a cool experience to get some guys out, and Brian and his guys to kind of shake down their operation there. So hopefully we get back out with Brian. I can showcase more of his setup, but if you guys haven't seen that reel or heard that podcast, go back and check it out. He's got a pretty cool setup with his mothership that they bought, a 23-foot, basically a fishing boat, but it's got a real open platform for them to cook and have everybody kind of hang out there while Brian's running his polar craft for as the tender and setting out all the gear and everything. It's a pretty cool operation. I think they're the only ones. They definitely are the only ones in this area that are running a crew like that. So pretty cool to see. There's been a bunch of veterans hunts as well with TFO, and a lot of my friends that have been chipping in for that. So it's cool to see those two. And then we had Rob Snell on. If you guys haven't seen that episode, it was so funny. My stomach hurt after we got done. But Rob's just a very passionate person, and he's passionate about the things that he does. And hearing the story of Gun Dog Supply and how it started with his parents, and him and Steve kind of took it over. If anybody has dogs, you've bought something from Gun Dog Supply, it's it's a great website. It's a great group of people that they've got over there. And Rob and I have been talking back and forth for years about photography and video. He was trying to get some more, dip his toes a little bit more into the video side, and asking about workflow and settings and stuff like that. I mean, if you run a camera, you have an idea of what the exposure needs to be for video. And it's just kind of learning the nuances, like the 180-degree rule and certain things like that. So it's a little different, but it's, to somebody who has only done photo, it's a little intimidating to get into. So it's cool that Rob came on. We got to talk about all that stuff, and him and I have been, we've been chatting for a long time, but still catching up every week and just talking about stuff. It's been cool. Looking forward to trying to get some different guests on here for the rest of the season. I'll leave that as kind of a surprise, but got some cool ones. Looking forward to it. Speaking of which, we had Jamie from Deepwater Duck on. Jamie gifted me a Deepwater Duck that I've been using and getting some content for him. So I wouldn't say he's a exclusive sponsor, but I treat it as that, because anytime somebody gives me something, I like to run it through its paces, but I also like to give back to them. With most of the time, people just want content. They want their product shown, and so that's what I've been trying to do. Diver hunting here didn't really kick off till the last couple weeks. We went out, our season went out, we'll get to that, but what I wanted to talk about as far as the Deepwater Duck is that Jamie and I are going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to call it a quote-unquote Christmas giveaway, but we're going to launch it right after Thanksgiving. So be on the lookout for that. This episode's going to come out tomorrow, so about 2 weeks is when you guys will see the release on that, but it'll be pretty easy. We're both going to make a post on Facebook and Instagram. As long as you comment on it and you're following both of us, you'll be entered. Nothing to buy. It's more of a collaboration between us, and just making sure that we're giving something back. For me, it's trying to help get as many eyes over to Jamie as possible. He's got a very loyal old following that he built years ago, so he doesn't need my help, but he wanted to do this giveaway, and I think it'll be super cool to get somebody a Deepwater Duck. Hopefully they get it a few weeks before the end of their season and they can give it a shot. I know for me, I've been using it for 2 weeks now, and the 3 hunts that I've done with it, you can definitely tell that those birds are keying in on it. I mean, they're seeing it. As long as it's a wind-powered decoy, so you got to have some wind. It spins pretty easy with a light wind. But once that wind gets going, that thing, it just starts ripping. It's super cool. It's nice that it's very easy to set up. You just hook an anchor to it and you throw it out. If the bird isn't pointed into the wind, or you want it pointed away from the wind, or however you want to point it, then you just have a little set screw on the pole above the float, and you just turn it. It's very easy. It's very easy to set up. It's very stable. I'll talk about it when I get to a hunt from this past weekend, but it can handle some pretty rough stuff. It's a very well made product. Jamie's been busting his ass getting them out. There's been a lot of people reaching out to me about it, how to order them, and so that's what I say. Like, it's not a sponsorship, it's a partnership, but Jamie hasn't asked for anything of me. I'm trying to, I just want to help as much as I possibly can. So, Jamie, I appreciate it. I know you're going to listen to this. Be on the lookout for that giveaway. We're going to start that the week after Thanksgiving. So, on top of that, our friends over at Super Clean have sent over another care package, and they want to also do a giveaway. So we'll be doing a giveaway for that as well. It'll be after the Deepwater Duck giveaway. It'll be similar thing. I'm gonna make a post, everybody comments on it. That's the easiest way for me. I don't really have like set merch for people to purchase and get entered in that way. If this was a larger channel and it made sense and there was a lot more people buying merch, then, you know, it could be, you know, that idea what like the car people are doing, or, you know, like C-Boys do it, Cletus McFarland does it. There's a lot of people that do these giant giveaways, and as you spend $5 and you get an entry type of deal. This channel's not big enough for that. The people that I'm working with, probably, not that they would be against it in any way, but it just would limit the amount of people that enter. And I think that it's just easier for me to make a post. Everybody that sees it, or if I make a video, you know, there's gonna be multiple ways to enter, because I know that not everybody has all the social media. So that one will be easy. It'll be for some super clean products. You know, it's kind of funny that Super Clean you know, sends me stuff and wants to collaborate on videos, where it's, to me, it's more of like, you know, cleaning products would be something outside of hunting and fishing. But I don't, they reached out to me first, and, you know, we've done one giveaway. They send me stuff all the time, and I'm super grateful for it. I think it's cool that I get cleaning products. It really does help. I have them, they sit in the barn. I use them on my grill. I use them on the boat trailers, on the boats, the truck, you know, all the engines. The degreaser on it is really good. You put it on any engine or any oil buildup, and it just basically melts off. It's pretty incredible. There was a video that I did where I was cleaning out the floor, or the under the floor of my big boat, my lake boat, and it just had all this grease and grime and nasty stuff built up on it for God knows how long. I don't think that floor was ever replaced. And I mean, I sprayed it on there, let it sit for a couple minutes, and just wiped it off. It was pretty insane. I'm really happy that I have a stockpile of this stuff, because it does come in handy. So yeah, those are the two giveaways that are going to be happening, you know, before the end of the year. Pretty excited about that, and get some stuff in your guys' hands. You know, it's pretty cool to work with people that want to do that. So as far as the, you know, some new gear that I was using this year, I made a couple videos on gear that I was using. I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Mueller. I reached out to him, was texting him about you know, his chokes. They're not cheap by any means, and I mean, they're affordable for, you know, we spend money on everything, you know, but I was buying some bismuth. I bought some Kent bismuth for this year, so I wanted to upgrade my choke. The choke I was using before this was just, sometimes it just, I don't know, it was weird. Like every once in a while it'd just be like the tightest pattern, and I don't know if it was the wads and the shells or what, but it just didn't really impressed me. So I reached out to Jimmy. He hunts divers, and told me that the decoy was going to be a good choke for me. I really don't try and shoot anything further than 45 yards, so I just wanted to find something that would give me a tight pattern, not too tight, because I can open it up a little bit, and it seemed to help. So that's what I did. Got that choke from Jimmy up until this past weekend, which was definitely a wind thing. I mean, I have been just smoking birds with this thing. I haven't shot a ton of birds, and we'll get to that, but the ones that I have shot have been, you know, it's got them pretty good. And I don't necessarily think that that's fully the bismuth. I think that has a lot to do with Jimmy's technology and his chokes, because there's a lot more people that have good things to say that aren't shooting, you know, bismuth or the same shot that I am, and they have the same feedback. So I think that it goes further than just the choke or just the ammo. It's the choke. So appreciate Jimmy, and been using the deepwater duck. Obviously talked about that. Bought the Quake Lake decoys. And the caveat with those is it seems like there's been a lot of them that people have gotten that have like a crack in them or a hole. So if you do buy them, just give them a look over before you take them out. I found a crack in mine. I put some silicone on it, and it ended up being fine. But what I think was really cool about those decoys is how big they are, and when you're hunting big water like we are, you just need a little edge. I mean, like, you can put out as many decoys as you want, and you know, the more that you put out for divers seems to help. But then I've also seen times where people put out less, and it just kind of depends on where you're hiding, you know, that sort of thing. But I've noticed that those, between the deep water duck and those __lakes, that those birds, I mean, I'm putting them pretty close to each other, like they're kind of in the center of the spread, and they seem to be keying in on those big decoys, which is cool. And so if you haven't had a chance to use them, and you're interested in them, reach out to __Lake or Brandon Hall if you're up in our area. He's a dealer for them, and yeah, I think it's cool. Like, they're just massive. They're so big. I feel like they've been helping. So that's kind of the few new things that I've been trying this year. That I'm pretty excited about. I think they're gonna help me out through the rest of the season, and I might even try and bring them out. We're gonna film RNTV this week, and I may try and sneak them out. I mean, I know that I work for Tangle Free. The show's sponsored by Tangle Free, but I think that if we could get some of these __Lakes out there, it just might help our cause a little bit. So we'll see. So that being said, yeah, I'm gonna be filming with Sean this week in our area, bounce between Ohio and Michigan, and just it really depends on the wind of where we're gonna go. But the episode that came out from last year turned out so good, and we got a bunch of really good footage. I'm really looking forward to, you know, getting some of that done this week. Then it'll be the week of Thanksgiving, and then we're going back down to Maple Ranch the week after. So if you haven't heard previous podcasts from last year, that's where we ended up going and filming. It's an invite-only club. They really like the TV show, so they invite us down every year, and it's used as a sponsor hunt because we don't pay. It makes it easy to get everybody together. There's plenty of room to stay. The bird management there is incredible, so the bird numbers are really good, and makes for some great footage for us to get, but it also is a way for John and Sean to give back to the sponsors and give them a thank you. You know, I mean, these companies put up a lot of money for sponsorship and products and stuff like that, so it's cool that they're able to give back to them, and we can go down and kind of, you know, kick back, hang out, not have to worry about doing a ton of scouting or getting ready and beating up gear and all that sort of stuff. So it's I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see the guys that are down there. I've stayed in touch with them, and they're excited for us to come down. I'm excited too. I'm going to take my big 500 mil, and in the afternoons after we're done hunting, I'm going to go get as much content as I possibly can. So be looking for that. It's going to be, I'm excited. I'm going to try to film some others, like kind of behind the scenes stuff while we're down there. I'm going to take a GoPro and my gun with the ShotKam, so when it's my turn, I will try to film my own stuff and make a video. But we've got that going on, and I've got some Tangle Free projects to do while I'm down there as well. Eric Massey, who's been on the show and kind of made this whole thing possible for me, he's going to be down there. It's in Missouri, but it's close to where he is in Kansas, so he's coming and asked me to do some, on top of my contract work, some additional stuff. So looking forward for that. It's going to be pretty easy. I mean, it'll be all the stuff's there already, so it's not like we have to really set up anything. It's just more or less me getting the shots that I need and making sure that they get what they need. So pretty cool stuff. So kind of some behind the scenes talk of what's coming up, and obviously we started our season October 18th, got out for the opener. We did not do that great. It was very, very warm. Shot one wood duck, so I mean, it wasn't, not that it wasn't worth it. It was just a tough morning. Would have been probably a better You know, the first 2 weeks I feel like were probably better if you had a field. The water hunting was tough. You know, it's just when these birds, when it's warm and the birds are basically resident birds, they catch on pretty quick, and then they kind of get out of here. So then you kind of have this lull before you go into a split and give them some time to reacquaint themselves. So yeah, had a few hunts, shot a few birds, nothing too incredible. Woody, a couple mallards, you know, that sort of thing. We ended up having a draw hunt. That didn't really go that well either. So it was a lot of trial and error, kind of setting up, or, you know, getting these hunts. And for me, I've been hunting during the week, and it just seems like it doesn't even help, because I thought that having 5 days during the week would give me better, better odds of having good wind. And the wind has just been insane. It's either been really warm and not windy, or it's been super windy, can't really go anywhere. So we had a siege that blew all the water out, so a lot of the like low water, or, you know, shallow water areas that I generally would hunt at the beginning of the season, blown out. I mean, there's nothing you can even do. So for anybody that's not aware, a siege here in Ohio around Lake Erie, for us in the Western Basin, is when we get a super hard west or southwest wind, and it essentially blows all the water to Buffalo. So it kind of takes the lake, shifts the water to the east side, and when that happens, it draws all the water out of our area. So there was tons of people at marinas and stuff like that their boats were literally sitting on the keels in the mud, no water. They're just sitting, and that sucked for people that weren't paying attention, because some of them had their dock lines tight, and so their boats were like hugged up against the docks, or literally hanging off the docks and on their sides. So it's something you gotta be careful of, especially here. It's just, we have a, you know, kind of a prominent southwest wind. It just kind of, if we have that's our most common wind. So if it kicks up and does some, you know, it can really pull the water out, and you have no access, you know, from public ramps and stuff like that. If you're out during it, your boat gets stuck. I've dealt with that. Had a buddy that just dealt with that, and it sucks. Like, you really got to pay attention. And that being said, the video that I filmed this past weekend, we were layout hunting in some pretty serious wind, some 30-mile-an-hour wind. You know, 3-footers, layout boat got filled with water. So I want to do a video, because there's a lot of people that reach out to me and they say, you know, what do I need for the lake, or what do I need to pay attention to? And a lot of the times that I'm filming a video, you know, I'm showing a lot of like calm days, because that's when I like to go out, is when it's fairly calm. I'm not going to go shore hunt when there's a 40-mile-an-hour east wind. You know, that's going to be hunting 6-footers. Not doing that. So I think that there's a little misconception there about, like, the lake is always friendly, it's always calm, and that is definitely not the case. So I want to take some of the footage that we got last weekend and use that to kind of put out a video where I talk about, like, the dangers of hunting on Lake Erie, or like the reality that you have to deal with. There's so many times that you go out and you think, man, it's going to be a nice 15-mile-an-hour south wind. We get enough wind behind our back, not too rough on the lake. But what you don't know is that, and it's not predicted, is that it's going to shift to a west or a northwest wind within 2 hours of you getting out there. Well, now you're going to be in 3-footers. And if you're not prepared for that, if you took a flat bottom john boat out, you're probably not going to make it back in. You'll be spearing waves with a thing. It's going to be taking water over the sides. You know, there's people that sink their boats out there. Happened like 2 years ago. Somebody was going across the bay, and it was like a 35-mile-an-hour west wind. And as soon as they cleared this point, water started dumping in their boats. They barely made it to, 2 feet of water so that they could get out, and their boat was completely full of water. And I feel like I owe that to everybody to, you know, not just show. I've shown the days where it's windy, but I've shown days where it's windy and we've hid from it, you know, and give everybody the warning, like, hey, if you're coming out here, it might not be what you think it is, and you better have a backup plan if you're coming here, because if you can't get on the lake, you just wasted a trip. So I'm gonna probably come up with that, and that'll come out in a week or two. It might be the same video that I released for the deep water duck giveaway. So be looking out for that. That one's gonna be coming up. But so as far as the rest of the season, we are now in our second split. We can shoot our 2 bluebills, which if you haven't seen the video from Michigan that I did, got my 2 bluebills there, and we got a lot of birds here. There's a lot of birds around right now, and there's a ton of bluebills, you know, a ton of buffies. There are golden eyes. Saw some scoters, you know, stuff like that. They're around. It's just being able to get the right wind to go find them. So we're going to be, you know, targeting them this week when we're filming. Then we'll be into Thanksgiving, have a bunch of time off, so we're going to be trying to, you know, get out there, get after them, maybe lay out hunt once or twice, shore hunt. You know, if the wind's not right, then we'll be in the marsh. And I'm an opportunist. If I can get out on the lake, I like to, just because I like to throw big spreads and I like to shoot divers. But if the wind's wrong, we're going to be in the marsh trying to shoot puddle ducks, or out at my goose pond trying to shoot geese. That's one thing that we haven't really done this year is goose hunted. That hasn't really lined up for my boys up north. So hopefully we can get at least one hunt before, I think their season's out in 3 weeks or so. And try to at least get one good goose hunt. Yeah, our season goes until December 28th in the marsh zone, and then January 5th in the north zone. So we will, all things considered, as long as there's not a ton of ice, we're going to be getting into some real late season birds, and, you know, hopefully getting out some good videos. So I know that's not the main focus of us hunting, you know, is making good videos, but the way that I have it set up and that I film these, it's if we have a good hunt, it'll be on video. So I'm always excited to make good videos for you guys, and, you know, put out good podcasts and just make sure that everything's quality stuff. So I think that's really all I wanted to catch up on. It's hunting season. We're here, we're doing it. Pretty excited, you know, making it work. So if you guys haven't been to 𝐦𝐤𝐤.com, make sure to go to 𝐦𝐤𝐤.com, use the code TMH18 to get 18% off your order. If you guys are looking for some merch that helps me out, waterfowl brand, WTRFWL brand is where you can find that gear. It's I designed it, made up the website with a couple buddies, and we've been trying to promote it. I've been trying to put it in videos, and yeah, if you guys want some waterfowl gear, that's where you can check it out. If you guys aren't following me on TikTok, Brian Althorpe, it's the same stuff you'll see on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, let's get after it. Check out everybody that I talked about today. I think that's it. Appreciate you guys following along, and catch you guys in the next episode.